Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll begin this meeting. It is 6:02. Will you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Today's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Kenneth Brown, fourth grader at Loma Verde.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. We're down to item number 3, superintendent comments.
Yes, President Gandra and members of the board, April 13th marked a special day for our board president. It was his birthday, and I know, President Gandra, that you had lots of birthday wishes on the 13th, but who's thinking about you today on the 18th? We are. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, President.
Thank you.
It gives me great pride to announce that Socorro ISD has the most schools in the El Paso region, named as 2016 Texas Honor Roll schools. So congratulations to these 5 schools, to their students, their staff, and they are Benito Martinez, Elfida Chavez, Horizon Heights, Loma Verde, and Mission Early College High School. Congratulations for achieving this great honor. Also, congratulations goes to Montwood High School for earning the RAMP Award, which recognizes their commitment to delivering a comprehensive, data-driven school counseling program and exemplary educational environment. And get this, it is the only Texas school and one of 104 schools from across the country being recognized. So congratulations, Montwood Rams. And I know the proud principal, Ms. Menchaca, is back there in the back, so congratulations, Ms. Menchaca. Also, our Butler Spring Games were held last week, and I want to thank all of our special education staff and entire team for another successful event. All of our students had a blast. And I know our MC, I saw her earlier, Diane, stand up. She does a great stand up. She does a great job of being there all day and emceeing that event. Great job. Also, our Elmo and Friends visit was also a complete success at the SAC. Get this. Over 7,500 pre-K, first grade, kinder, first grade, second grade students were at the SAC on Thursday, and they were entertained by Elmo and Friends. And the reason we had all those students there is because they answered the call to attend school every single day. So we had a 19% ADA increase. So I'd like to thank everyone that made this possible, including Ms. Maribel Macias, her entire department, specifically Ms. Erica Lucero. I don't think Erica is here, but she's our coordinator, marketing and sales, our transportation department, the awesome principals and assistant principals, teachers, parents, students, and our amazing volunteers. And I want to thank the Board of Trustees as well. What a great event it was last Thursday with Elmo and Friends for our little ones. Tomorrow, April 19th, is our volunteer recognition and awards at Region 19 Head Start. So looking forward to thanking all of our volunteers tomorrow. Also tomorrow evening, we have a military family night at Pebble Hills High School at 6 p.m. And Saturday, April 22nd, we'll have a new pre-K registration process held at our high school. So looking forward to this Saturday at all of our high schools for our new pre-K registration processes. So there's lots of great things happening in our school district, and we are looking forward to finishing up the 16-17 school year strong. And together, we're going to make this happen. So thank you so much. Thank you, President Gandra.
Thank you, Superintendent. Next, let's go down to item number 4, Board Honors. Daniel Escobar.
Good evening, President Gandra, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Espinosa. My name is Daniel Escobar, Chief Communications Officer for the district, and it is my pleasure to introduce tonight's recognitions. Our first presentation will be led by autism specialist who we just met, Ms. Diane Flores.
the mic won't leave me. It's, it's just the mic. Good afternoon, board, and Dr. Espinosa and everybody on the board. Thank you for having us. Our autism awareness message, it's not about imposing typical social norms on individuals, but learning and understanding how they best socialize and communicate in order to create a unique, cohesive, and talented world where everyone is accepted and supported. That's what SISD is about. And autism awareness for us is about recognizing the uniqueness that we have all across our district. And to start off, we have Kenneth Brown from Loma Verde's Access Classroom.
You may be asking, what is Access? How does it work? Well, Access is a place where students with autism learn to deal with our emotions. It's like a part-time classroom. We can go to Access if we have negative emotions during the day. You may also be asking how Access has helped me. When I first came to Loma Verde, I could get mad over things like grades that aren't A's. I could even get a little violent. Luckily, the teachers in Access helped me get over the problem and many more. The system I love most in Access is the timer system. It allows us to have up to 5 minutes to calm down if we're moody. Then, and only then, will the teachers come and talk to you about your problem. This is all I have to say. Thank you for your attention.
Our next student is Dominic Amante from the Access Classroom at Americas High School.
Pockets. I remember when I was a little kid, I had no door of opportunity. I was bullied most of my life, and I had no one to talk to. I moved from school to school for the same reason every single time, and each one had the same result. I was called an outcast, and all this bullying, all this hatred, all this being called an outcast, just because I had autism. No one understood what I did, how my behaviors worked. No one understood me. And after a while, you just get used to the bullying. The worst part, in my opinion, was just knowing that no one cared, that everyone just called you an outcast. You couldn't sit with anyone at lunch. You were forced under a tree, all alone. You wouldn't understand how someone with these conditions would feel unless you had it, yourself, or how they would have it themselves. It wasn't until, of course, Access was created, the Access program, where kids with autism, just like me, learned to get along with other people. It helped us make friends, and it showed us that we're not so different from other people, okay? We're not. Just knowing that we have people similar to ourselves helps a lot. And I think the most important thing about this Access program is that it helps with our social tweaks and helps us fix our behaviors, because we're not all built the same, but it really does help to think we are.
Dominic presented this year at the Autism Conference from Region 19. He was one of our presenters. He also presented to O'Shea for their autism awareness parade that they had there. You have some bears that we made, students made, and you also have a magnet for your vehicle. Right there. I want to see everybody having their magnet on their vehicle. These do not do well in the car wash, so you need to get them out when you put your car in the car wash. And they also don't do well at autism awareness walks. They kind of disappear from your car. Just a heads up, okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wash my vehicle. Maybe I'll actually get to keep this one.
So thank you again to our students in Special Education Department for their presentation. Dr. Espinosa and trustees, if you'll please step down now to receive our honorees. Our first recognition will honor two Sunridge Middle School students for being commissioned by the City of El Paso to create an Earth Day themed painting on full-size trash cans for the city's annual Earth Day celebration. The contest was originally open to participants over the age of 18, but because of the students' great work, the judging committee decided to allow younger students to compete. So congratulations to these incredible student artists. They are Marlon Gallardo, and Rachel Salcido. Their teacher is Mr. Gabriel Aragon. And just a quick note as they're gathering for this photo that all of the portraits taken by our district photographer, Mr. Largo, will be posted on the district's MugMug account. There is a camera icon on the bottom right-hand corner of the webpage. The photos there are available for a free high-resolution download. Congratulations once again. Next, we will recognize Team SISD students for advancing to the 2017 Texas Science and Engineering Fair. This year, a record number of 78 students from 7 different campuses advanced to the state competition and earned the most awards in district history. The students exhibited projects in different categories such as cellular and molecular biology, biomedical engineering, and translational medicine. Congratulations to these outstanding students. So that all the names are heard, we ask that the audience please hold their applause until each of the individual names and the group have been introduced. We'll begin with from Clark Middle School, Evelyn Zarate. All right, continuing. The coordinator from Clark is Rosalinda Juarez. From John Drugan School, Paulina Trevino, Sofia Navarro, Caitlin Peña, Mario Solis, Jesly Rivas, Isabella Slape, Juliana Boone, Zaida Palomares, Ariana Hernandez, Vianney Frias, Itzel Carmona Lopez, Celine Orozco, Abigail O'Hara, Isabella DeBrule, Selena Alvarez, Alan Salas, Matthew Hasson, Ariana Diaz, Sylvia Hong, Juan Solis, Alexis Solis, Isabella Alvarez. The Science Fair coordinator for John Drugan School is Jasmine Berrios. Continuing with Enzer Middle School, Ryan Miner, Samuel Fierro, Ali Hernandez. Their campus coordinator is Christine Duran. From Mission Early College High School, Jillian Serrano, Leah Shook, Natalia Galvan, Ilana Romero, Yanette Mesherer, Thomas Guerra, Carolee Pimentel, Jessica Reyes, Steven Robles, Emma Carrillo, Amy Cavalier, Alexa Ochoa, and their science fair coordinator, Liliana Ramirez. If we can have one loud round of applause for all these amazing scientists from Team SISD. So if we can have you all please return to the front for a photo. Let's see how she. Yep. More? All right, if everybody of you hold up your certificates, make sure they're straight up, facing forward, and everybody look right at the center at Acavius. All right, and just keep smiling, don't divert, just keep looking straight at Acavius. Just look right at the middle, right in the middle. Keep smiling, keep smiling. Congratulations once again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Round two. With our next recognition, we will honor 3 SISD high school mariachi groups who performed at the 2017 UIL State Mariachi Competition. The teams from El Dorado, Socorro, and Eastlake were among only 5 mariachi groups from the area to advance to state and compete against 70 other Texas schools. Both Eastlake and Socorro earned excellent ratings, and El Dorado earned the first superior rating of any El Paso high school. Again, so that all the names of each group are heard, we ask the audience, please hold your applause until I have the opportunity to read all their names. We'll begin with the Socorro High School Mariachi Los Gavianes. We have Priscilla Diaz, Jessica Delgado, Jesus Cano, Giovanni Betances, Melissa Navejas, Jose Chavez, Jonathan Avila, Pablo Rosas. The instructors are Juan Gonzalez, Jose Parada, and they're led by director Roger Rosales. Congratulations. If we can have you return to the front for a photo with the board and superintendent. Congratulations once again. From the Eastlake High School, Mariachi Falco, we have Brianda Almaraz, Adriana Salcido, Annette Fernandez, Regina Hernandez, Brianna Ortega, Alexa Villanueva, Megan Ramos, Alexandro Escalero, Alondra Carvajal, Marian Esquivel, Cassandra Fernandez, Lauren Jurado, Rebecca Maldonado, Michael Garcia, Cesar Valles, and they are led by Director Albert Martinez. From El Dorado High School's Mariachi Azteca, congratulations to Ivan Aguayo, Alvaro Alvarez, Christopher Espinosa, Yedir Fernandez, Laila Fournier, Leonardo Garcia, Samantha Garcia, Sebastian Gonzalez, Mauricio Melendez, Abril Ornelas, Angel Ornelas, Christian Orono, Ivan Vialiani, and their director is Juan Contreras. Vialiente. Vialiente. If we can have you all please return to the front for your photo. She's proud. She's proud. Congratulations once again. Up next, we will honor 3 SISD boys soccer teams for winning 2016-17 championships. The teams will be recognized by school, and again, just so that all the names are heard, we ask that if you'll please hold your applause until we introduce the entire team. We'll begin with Eastlake High School boys varsity soccer team for winning their 4th district championship. The Falcons ended the season with a record of 16 wins and only 4 losses. They participated in different tournaments and had the opportunity to play in Frisco, Texas, and in the Cowboy Ford Center. In addition, 5 players earned scholarships to 4-year universities in Amarillo, Hobbs, and Boston, Massachusetts. So congratulations to these outstanding athletes. They are Kevin Gomez, Noé Flaco, Sean Ryan, Abel Morales, Daniel Mata, Filiberto Carlos, Rafael Castrejon, Pablo Aguirre, Osman Ochoa, Alberto Galindo, Alexis Rodriguez, Austin Estrada, Joel Sandoval, Arturo Ruiz, Abraham Hernandez, Danny Gonzalez, Jonathan Hernandez, Gael Navarrete, Angel Salazar. The team trainer is Xochitl Carbona Lopez. Assistant coaches are Mark Lopez, Tony Oropesa, and they're led by head coach Gibby Widner. If we can have you all please return to the front for a photo. Next, we recognize the Montwood High School boys varsity soccer team who earned the titles of back-to-back district championships as well as a by-district championship this season with a record of 20 wins and only 3 defeats this season. The Rams showcased greatness at the Franklin and Midland tournaments, earning the President's Cup Championship. In addition, the school's head soccer coach, Carlos Canales, was named the District 16A Boys Soccer Coach of the Year. Congratulations to Coach and all the outstanding Rams. They are Ricardo Olage, Cesar Sanchez, Dan Moreno, Fernando Lechuga, Jose Lara, Isaac Garcia, Daniel Tarango, David Sandoval, Andres Nájera, Josh Delira, Brian Meraz, Eric Loera, Diego Lopez, Andrew Gomez, Albert Ortiz, Neil Sobling, Alexis Torres, Alexander Nunez, Javier Lara, Luis Lopez, Guillermo Prieto. Team trainer is Eric Escobedo. Assistant coaches are Anthony Kelly, Mark Schneider, and they are led by 16A Coach of the Year, Carlos Canales. Congratulations once again. Next, we honor the Socorro High School Bulldog boys varsity soccer team for adding another trophy to their trophy case, a by-district championship. This was their 12th consecutive year making the playoffs. Many team members earned various accolades such as Offensive MVP, Best Outstanding Freshman Goalkeeper, and first and second team All-District players. Congratulations to these championship Bulldogs. They are Ezekiel Chavez, Alexis Amaya, Carlos Alvarez, Christian Aleman, Salvador Aguilera, Angel Pardo, Joan Ramirez Leiva, Mizraim Roblero, Yair Davila, Eric Camacho, Adrian Martinez, Adam Valles, Oscar Diaz, David Bluvan, Anthony Sandoval, Ivan Ponce, Andrew Rodriguez, Alfonso Jimenez, Armando Pando, Alan Duran. Audio video for the team, Laura Olivas. Statistics manager, Martha Moreno and Brianna Valverde. Their assistant coaches are Luis Perez and Alejandro Alvarez. They're led by head coach Alex Delgado. Congrats, coach. Almost there. Congratulations once again. We have three special presentations this evening to honor Team SISD employees for their outstanding achievements. First, we will honor an El Dorado High School art teacher for being named a 2017 HEB Excellence in Education Award finalist. The Excellence in Education Award spotlights the El Dorado teacher as one of the best educators in Texas. As a finalist, she was paid a surprise visit to her classroom by HEB representatives and presented a $1,000 prize for herself, as well as a $1,000 check for her school. This outstanding teacher will go on to compete against 4 other Texas finalists in her category for a cash prize of $10,000 for herself, as well as $10,000 for her school. Congratulations to our 2017 HEB Excellence in Education Award finalist, Ms. Candace Prince. If we can have you back up front for a photo, Ms. Prince. Congratulations. Next, we recognize a Team SISD administrator for being selected as a 2017 Texas National Distinguished Principal finalist by the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. The NDP Award honors principals who exhibit extraordinary leadership, commitment to their students and staff, service to their communities, and contributions to the profession, including their professional associations. The Team SISD administrator was one of 8 Texas principals to be named a finalist out of more than 123 nominations that were received for the award. Congratulations to James Butler Elementary School Principal, Rosa Chavez.
Way to go, Ms. Chavez.
You good? You got it? Congratulations. Our next special presentation will recognize Specialist Rafael Hernando III Middle School for being designated a Texas Schools to Watch campus by the Texas Middle School Association. Hernando has been recognized for its high performance, clear focus on academic growth, and ensuring every child has access to a rigorous, high-quality education. The campus is one of only 7 Texas schools to be selected as a model by TMSA. Congratulations to this amazing school. Representing the campus are members of its leadership. We have Eduardo Lopez, Dornace Britton, yes, sir. Jacqueline Anaya, Priscilla Soria Reyes, Christine Llewellyn, Mandy Porras, Laura Lujan, Assistant Principal, Mr. Robert Hood, and their proud Principal, Vanessa Betancourt. Congratulations once again. So to conclude our recognitions, we have a group of students who would like to personally thank the board for supporting autism awareness. If you please help me welcome to the front, Juan Carlos Padilla. Eduardo Valenzuela. And Adam Flores. Here it is. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
So much
no
for
problem.
everything.
Thank you, guys.
We got you a banner. and
Yes,
a
yes,
magnet,
that's
too.
awesome. Thank you so much. This concludes our presentations for this evening. Thank you.
On item number 6, Okay. Vice Chair? Okay, let's go down to item number 6A, consider approval of a proclamation for National School Nurse Day, May 10th, 2017. Ms. Madrid?
Good evening, Dr. Espinosa and board members. Today we have the honor of Ms. Briley Burnett from Dr. Sushu, who's going to be reading the proclamation for schooners.
Whereas children are the future, and by investing in them today, we are ensuring a world for tomorrow, and whereas families deserve to feel confident that their children will be cared for when they are at school, and whereas all students have the right to have their health needs safely met while in school setting, and whereas children today face more complex and life-threatening health problems requiring care in school, and whereas school nurses have served a critical role in improving public health and ensuring students' academic success for more than 100 years, and whereas school nurses address to home and community factors that impact students' health, and whereas school nurses and professional nurses that advance the well-being, academic success, and long life achievements of all students by serving on the front lines and providing a critical safety net for our nation's most fragile children, and whereas school nurses act as a liaison to school communities, families, and healthcare providers on behalf of children, health by promoting wellness and improving health outcomes for our nation's children. And whereas school nurses support the health and educational success of children and youth by providing access to care for children's cognitive development is at its peak. And whereas school nurses are members of school-based teams to address the school population, and whereas school nurses understand the link between health and learning and are in position to make a positive difference for children every day, therefore be it resolved that the National Association of School Nurses celebrates and acknowledge the accomplishments of school nurses everywhere and their efforts of meeting the needs of today as students by improving the delivery of health care in our schools, and offers gratitude for the nation's school nurses who contribute to our local communities by helping students stay healthy in school and ready to learn, and keeping parents and guardians at work, not just at the on this National School Nurse Day, but at every opportunity throughout the year.
Great job, ma'am. We do have a motion made by Mr. Abe, second by Mr. Nájera. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Great job, ma'am, again, great job. Let's go down to number 7, open forum. We do have an individual that did sign up. We greatly appreciate those individuals who have requested to speak to the board during open forum or in regards to a specific agenda item. We are bound by certain time constraints in order to cover all items on the agenda, and therefore must limit presentations to 5 minutes. Please respect the rights of others in your presentation. By law, the board cannot take action upon, discuss on any of these items which is not posted on tonight's agenda, but will give all presentations our serious consideration. Thank you. Let's proceed with open forum. Yvette Laras. Good afternoon, Ms. Laras.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your time, Dr. Espinosa and school board members. I have 3 children, a daughter at Eastlake High School. She's a freshman, and I have 2 boys.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I apologize. No, we just need to lift up your mic for you.
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
apologize.
Okay.
We apologize. There we
It's
go.
okay.
Now we can hear you
Thank
better.
Okay. I have my daughter. She's a student at Eastlake High School. She's a freshman right now. And I have my 2 boys. They are attending Horizon Heights. One is a 5th grader and one is a 3rd grader. I'm here today because I feel the policy on intra-district transfers needs to be made more clear for parents and for students, because it is now affecting my son Mateo in a negative way. For the current school year, I did the intra-district transfer for my boys because of Desert Wind being a PEG school. When I did this, I was told that I would just need to submit the intra-transfer forms every year for them to continue at Horizon Heights and then transition to Enzer before getting to Eastlake High School. If I had known that there was a possibility they would have to go back to Desert Wind, I would have never done this transfer, because I don't see the point in allowing them to transfer if they were not going to be able to continue on at Enzer. I was told of other options to include Clark and Puentes, but those schools are too far from our home and they are a completely different feeder pattern. My boys want to go to Eastlake like their sister. My boys have been very happy at Horizon Heights, and it would be traumatizing to them for them to have to go back to Desert Wind or another school. This is why I say the policy on the intra-district transfers needs to be made more clear to parents and students, because my son, while he has been at Horizon Heights, he has been given the opportunity to choose his pre-AP classes. He is a straight A student. He just got his STAR results today. He got commended on both. He's a UIL participant, and he chose his pre-AP classes, electives. There was never any indication that he was not going to be allowed to transfer on to Enzer. The paper I received regarding online transfers for intra-district stated that I would have received an email when it was approved or denied, and I never received no such thing. I had to call support services to find out that it had been denied. Had I not called and found out it had been denied, we would have obviously enjoyed our summer, and it would have been, very bad to find out when the new school year was going to start that he was not going to be able to attend Enzer. These past 2 weeks have been very emotionally draining for my family, and I just wanted to come and speak with you guys on my son Mateo's behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We will we'll look into it for you, ma'am.
Okay, one more thing. I also did want to say I have been speaking with Ms. Macias. She is my point of contact regarding this. I just noticed that you were sitting right here. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I have been in contact with her, but I still did want to address it to you guys.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you again for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Espinosa, can we look into it and see if exception applies or something that?
Yes, we definitely will. We will. Ms. Macias?
Okay, let's move down to item number 8, district reports. Facilities report, Mr. Iington.
Good evening, President Gondla, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. The facility committee met earlier this month to review projects, and here is a brief executive summary of that report. The first one is the aquatics center upgrade. This project is moving along. If you recall, y'all approved a change order that has to do with the interior slide and the construction of some, or repairing some steel structure to that. We are proceeding with that. It will go a little bit longer. It'll take a little bit longer because of some long lead item on that, but it will not affect the pools itself. It'll just affect that one slide and that entering into that area. But all the pools have been replastered, and they are being filled with water. Pumps are being turned on, and the chemical it's being balanced. The system is being balanced. As you can see, the interior pools have been replastered. We're working on the pool decking, working on that. The little pool to the side here with the little mushroom shape in it, we actually added a ramp to it, a handicap ramp, so they could access that pool, not only for the disabled individual, but for elderly people. There was some concerns of them falling, so we added a ramp to that with railings and stuff to that pool. And you can see that there's the ramp on the right-hand side as it goes down from the spa. And actually the pool has some water in it now. The next project is Socorro High School HVAC. We're working on that project. This is the administration area. Hopefully in the next 30 days or so, I can give you some more timelines and information on that. But we are working with the engineers to coordinate that project. The new elementary school, of course, the new prototypical design based off of Purple Heart is in design, and we are working with maintenance and operations staff and various departments reviewing the drawings. You've seen the plans as of last year. Last month. This is the area, the first floor. The academic area is in the purple area, and then we have the second story to that. In fact, on April the 7th, a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Espinosa and I took the 2 members of the El Paso board and the superintendent and 3 or 4 of their staff members through the school, and they were very impressed with the school. Afita Chavez and Montwood Middle School, the outside air quality, this started during the last intercession. This project is moving and is coming along real well. We're working closely with the campuses to coordinate the work, so there is a minimal disruption, but the crews come on late in the afternoons and they leave and clean up before the school day starts. As you can see, we've done some demolitions and preparing for the ductwork to upgrade the outside air. Our last, another project that we're working on is the Cooper Rojas kitchen upgrades. During the intercessions or towards the end of the last week or so, we set up our temporary lines for those 2 kitchens to function this next few weeks of school. Last month, the board awarded the contract, so we're ready to get this started and under construction and completed here, hopefully before school starts. And that is my facility report. I'll answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Arrington? Thank you, Mr. Arrington.
Thank you.
Let's go down to item number 9, consent agenda. Is there any items to be pulled?
Yes, sir, Mr. Gambit, I'd like to pull 9C3, please.
Any more items?
Motion to approve with the exception of item 9C3.
Second?
We have a motion made by Mrs. Nakira, seconded by Mrs. Rodriguez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.3C. Mrs. Nakira.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Ms. Macias.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Macias, we have a lot of different groups request to use our facilities. I've never seen a school board election campaign committee. Can
And
you
that
fill us in a little bit more about this, please?
Yes, thank you. That was new to me. What this is under policy GKA local, where it is a candidate forum. They do have the right, or a group, they can complete all their forms, which are use of facilities. And what we have in policy is that they have to give assurance to all candidates that they are invited to participate. I did reach out to Ms. Cantu. What Ms. Cantu, she's a representative to a committee to elect Mr. Morales. And what she shared with me is that all candidates will be provided with questions developed by Socorro High School government or political science students. And that forum is to be held tomorrow, April 19th, from 6:30 to 7:45.
Okay, this committee, the lady who filled out the paperwork is part of the committee to elect Mr. Morales, who is running.
That's
for our
correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And all candidates are being invited and provided the questions?
That is what she shared with me, and part of the policy states that they all have to be invited to participate. Yes, ma'am. And she went further and stated that they were going to be provided the questions developed by Socorro High School students.
Okay.
Mr. Gondeta,
Mr. Guerra.
obviously I'm the incumbent, and Ms. Abdu has not provided me with any questions whatsoever. And I do feel leery going to a function that's being sponsored by Mr. David Morales. Doesn't make sense. If I would have been provided some questions of what's going on, but Ms. Abdu has not contacted me whatsoever.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Ms. Macias, are the folks who are requesting the use of the facilities aware of the rules and regulations regarding campaigning on school premises? Or have we
Yes,
shared
ma'am.
that information with them?
Yes, ma'am. When Ms. Abdu submitted the application, Ms. Lupe Lujan reached out to her and provided all that information to her just to ensure that she was aware. I do know that there was a representative there whenever we did the actual numbering of the ballot. However, we went ahead and provided that information to her just so that she was completely aware. When I spoke with her, she did share with me that she received it and was completely aware of the campaigning on premises and that it was just going to be an open forum for the community And as I shared, that the questions were going to be developed by Socorro High School students. They were going to be provided to all participants, and that it was just going to be an open forum.
Okay, so-
Nothing, as far as no campaigning.
I
would be.
apologize, Ms. Posey. You
Yes.
said something about Socorro High School students?
Yes, that's what she said, that she reached out to the student activities coordinator.
And have you
And
talked to her?
As far as to the student activities coordinator,
Yes.
I reached out to her. She has not responded, and what I did is
So we don't know if the student activities or the high school students are even going to participate.
That's exactly correct. That is what I received from Ms. Abdu. However, I did not, that was something that they were going to arrange.
Mr. Gandra? I have a lot of problems with this because once we have an individual saying, representing a candidate, and we're opening the forum to everybody, you know, in the future, there's nothing stopping from every candidate approaching schools and say, let's do a candidate for everybody, but it's my campaign sponsoring the thing. I would be 100% for this if the students at one of our schools, like they do at Coronado all the time, had set up a forum and it's an independent entity doing it. But quite frankly, the minute anybody's representing themselves as the committee to elect a candidate and now we're doing an open forum on school grounds, I'm not sure where we stand on this legally, but I really think that we're going down a real slippery slope here. If it was an independent, you know, I mean, for argument's sake, if it was Lowe's Hardware wanting to sponsor this thing, obviously if there was no political ties, I wouldn't care. But they've been very honest with us and told us this is who we are, but we're trying to be very fair. I have a real concern here that if we allow this once, this will, you know, this could probably just kind of spread like wildfire, because what's to stop every candidate from talking to school into doing it? I think this is a slippery slope, and I'm not very supportive of this. If it was an independent entity, quite frankly, the Libertad students, if they wanted to do it, or our students' councils that wanted to do it, like they do in El Paso District, I'm much more comfortable with that than a candidate's organization coming and saying, we want to do it and be 100% fair and open on school grounds. I mean, if that person wants to do a forum and they want to invite them to another forum, we obviously have no say-so, but I think this is going to put us in a real difficult situation in the future. Well, now and in the future.
Mrs.
I
Nájera?
have a lot of concerns about this. It's supposed to be fair to all the candidates, and that was fine, but Mr. Getter reporting that he hasn't received the question, it just, I have a lot of concerns about this now. Where because of the concerns that have been shared, but our policy says they're allowed to have a political forum. And where we might not approve of this, according to policy, they're allowed to have this. And their only requirement is to invite all candidates, correct?
That is correct.
Mr. Gandara?
Mr. Nájera?
Quick question. If our policy states that they're allowed to do this, but they have to invite all candidates, how do we make sure that we're following policy when we don't know if the candidates have actually been invited or not?
Correct. And that was going to be my next step. If you all approved, that was going to be my call to her, and then it was going to be to confirm with all three of the candidates at that point. Because at this point, it's for
Okay,
approval.
but say you call tomorrow, because the forum is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
And you call tomorrow and a candidate has not been invited, but we've already approved it.
Mr.
I mean-
Gandara?
Mr. Nájera?
Blanco?
Mr. Blanco, please.
Thank you. President Gonda, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, Steve Blanco, legal counsel. The policy is GKD, and it does allow for the hosting of partisan political groups to host a candidate forum. Normally, I think you all recognize that that's done by the PTA or by a student organization to invite groups, and it's scheduled in advance. There's a timing element to it, and so that you know everybody has an opportunity to appear. Whatever the topics are going to be discussed, if that's something that they want to share, they can. I'm not saying that's required, but in terms of our rules and regulations, I don't know that they've been satisfied. What I would suggest to the board is it's up to you to approve it. The policy allows the board to approve or decline to approve the use of the facilities. If you want to make it conditional, you can ask them to schedule it at another time and make sure that they have provided Ms. Macias with confirmation that they have satisfied all the rules and regulations, and so that it can be appropriately scheduled. I don't know whether all the candidates have been contacted. Mr. Guerra has said he is not. If there's another candidate, I'm not aware of whether that person's been contacted. So if you want them to comply, you can say yes, but you must do the following, and it has to be at a future date that they can schedule with Ms. Macias.
Mr. Gandara?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what we're gonna do for this at this time. I think it's too late, you know, in the game to start moving anything. But in the future, it would probably be good if we get the PTA involved so that they can have one or two presentations where the candidates can come in and they be the agency that could manage these forums.
Mr. Gandara?
Sure.
I still would be concerned about the precedent. You know, once we set this precedent, we've got a problem with this. And if it's up to our approval, my leanings is to disapprove it. And if they come back to us with some modifications or some other discussion, then we could look at if we want to approve it in the future. I just don't see the neutrality of this, where potentially there would be signs saying, and the announcement would be, welcome candidates, this is being sponsored by the committee to elect so-and-so, and we want to be fair to everybody so everybody will ask questions. This is not like when the associations have their forums or other people. This is clearly a candidate wanting to use our schools to do this, and I think it's a real slippery slope on this thing, and I'd be concerned with the precedent. And it's better to cancel tonight than cancel in the morning in the event that they've made some arrangement, but at the end of the day, they could put a sign at the door and say the event was moved somewhere else, if that's what they want to do.
Mrs. Nájera?
Mr. Ayo, I completely agree with you, but our policy says that we allow political forums. And so, while I don't like this and I have a lot of concerns about it, on what basis do we deny?
I don't know if Mr. Blanco had something, if not.
Mr. Gandara?
Mr. Blanco.
The issue, as I understand it, is communication to all the candidates, the information on who's going to attend. If you're going to approve it, I would say that it would have to be conditional if they satisfy that. I agree that it's problematic if you approve it and then tomorrow have to cancel it because Ms. Macias learns that, well, are there 3 candidates?
There's 3.
The third candidate, whoever that person might be, wasn't advised or informed, so that person doesn't have a fair opportunity to appear. That would be a problem, because how would you cancel it? You'd have to put the sign on the door. So it's up to you all. It's within your discretion to deny it or approve it. If you want to assign conditions to it, you can also do that.
I think to answer your question, Ms. Nájera, this request lacks the element of neutrality. And that's the basis that I would want to deny it. It is not a neutral request. It comes from a particular candidate, and it's clearly said that. It doesn't say, hi, I'm Ms. Cantu, and I want to schedule a candidate forum. She adds that caveat where she comes from. And that would be my rationale, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to deny.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Abrams, seconded by Mrs. Rodriguez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go down to item 10, new business. Consider approval of professional certified contract recommendations for 2017-2018 school year. Mr. Campoya.
Good evening, President Gandara, Dr. Espinosa, board members. Rudy Campoya, Chief Human Resources Officer. In your Friday packet, you should have received the list of professional employees that are recommended to receive their 2017-2018 employment contract. The list, which includes certified classroom teachers, counselors, educational diagnosticians, librarians, nurses, and speech therapists, has been verified and reviewed by administration. At this time, administration is recommending your approval of the list of employees that will receive their 2017-18 employment contract as presented.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Nájera, seconded by Mr. Guerra. Any further discussion? I do have something to say real quick. Mr. Campoya, I'm just throwing this out there. Is there any time in the future that we think that we're gonna move from going from a 1-year contract to maybe a 2-year to 3-year?
We had a multiple-year contract in the past, and we moved to a yearly contract. There hasn't been any discussion in cabinet or administration. Recommendation from HR is not to. A lot of districts have been going to just 1-year contracts for certain reasons.
And my feeling on is that we need to show our teachers and all our professionals out there that we're behind them, and give them a little bit of stability, then wonder if they're going to have a contract the very next year. That's my feeling. I don't know how everybody else feels on this issue, but that's just the way I feel. So the motion again was by Mr. I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. By Mr. Nakira and seconded by Mr. Guerra. Any other further discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, consider approval of RFP solicitation for consultation services for firm to possibly open an on-site employee health clinic. Ms. Carmona.
Good evening, Board President Gandara, Superintendent Espinosa, and board members of the board. The item is related to a workshop held on March 30th in relation to the idea or the possibility of opening an on-site health clinic. At the end of the presentation, the information concluded into administration requesting from the board to consider and approve administration's recommendation of RFP solicitation for consulting services firm to conduct a comprehensive study of the feasibility of opening an on-site employee health clinic. The study conducted by a consulting services firm will provide data related to the cost and the benefits of establishing an on-site health clinic, to include recruitment, retention, employee investment, and so on and so forth. So again, the intent is for administration to be allowed to process the public notice and be able to receive proposals from different firms.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion has
I
been
got a
made by
question.
Mrs. Nakira, seconded by
I
Mrs.
got a
Rodriguez.
question.
Any other further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir. Now you can go ahead.
How much money are we going to put aside for this endeavor?
Sure, and I think at this point, there is no specific amount in terms of what we're willing to invest, because we don't know if what is going to be proposed by the firm is going to be an agreement with a specific practice, which is what some school districts have in the area. They partner up with Physicians Healthcare Associates, I am Health, I believe, or I Am Well, and so on and so forth. That would be different if we were to open our own clinic and staff the clinic with our own employees. But again, if that's a point for us to be able to have available for you, that could be information that we can include in the RFP.
Mr. Gandara.
Mr. Nakira.
So, Mr. Carmona, isn't the purpose of the RFP simply to post an advertisement and say, hey, we're interested in this, let people know that this is something that we're looking for, and then when they respond with the RFP, I'm sure our advertisement is probably going to be very generic, because we're not in the business of opening clinics, and so the responses are going to not only include what they will do for us, but also the associated price. And once we get a response, we can determine where we move. So it's my understanding that at this point it's too easy even to start to imagine a cost, because it could be anywhere.
Absolutely.
Because someone could say, here's a phone book, give me $1, and someone else could say, here's the entire package, it's going to cost you $1 billion, and we could end up somewhere in between. So the RFP is just the advertisement, right?
That
just
is
the
correct.
authority to say, this is what we're looking for?
Absolutely. And in addition to your point, a very good point is, once we have that relationship established and that communication, we'll need to make that firm or consultant aware of the resources that we already have, one of them being the site, which in turn will fluctuate in terms of the expenses.
So it's my understanding this is just an RFP to go out
bring a recommendation to the board for your approval to select a consultant. And then that consultant would do the work to determine how much it would cost us. There would be a fee for them to do that additional work, is my understanding. Right? So,
Okay, Mr. Dessa, but it is not authority to select the consultant yet, is it?
that's
Isn't
correct.
it?
We're just simply asking your approval to go out for solicitations, and then we'll come back to the board to make a recommendation at that point in time.
Mr. Gandra?
Sure.
Mr. Carmona and Mr. Campoya, thank you for bringing this and putting it on the agenda. One of the things for clarification is this request for an RFP typically is not a board approval item, but we wanted this to come before the board for clarity and for transparency with the public, that we're in fact looking for a possible consultant to advise us on what the next steps would be and if there are any steps to be taken or not. And so again, for a matter of transparency, you all have put this on the agenda so that everybody's aware of kind of what we're looking at doing potentially in the future. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you.
There is a motion, first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Go item 10C, consider approval of contract with AT&T Lease Expiration Program, Mr. Ianton.
Yes, good evening, President Gondola, Dr. Espinosa, member of the board. On page 52 is the cell tower lease that we have been negotiating over the last few weeks. This is an AT&T lease that was originally the board brought to the board back in March of 2013. They approached us, wanted us to reconsider that lease, add into it, and to also change some of the terms. At the facility committee meeting, I presented that the first go-around of the negotiation, we are currently, as the existing lease states, is a 10-year lease, initial term of 10 years, ending of March 2023, with the terms being $1,500 a month, and then to be increased at 3% each year. They came back, the initial one, and they wanted us to reduce the amount to $1,450 a month, and to add some escalation clause and stuff. Needless to say, the facility committee didn't agree to that number, so I went back and approached them, and they have provided on the next page, on commencing on March 1st, 2018, the monthly rate would be $1,738.91 per month, and that will remain in effect with a 12% escalation clause over that period of time. So we did get an increase in our monthly rent to the $1,738 per month with the escalation clause. And then they wanted us to renew up to 4 or 5 year terms, which are term is a 5-year extension. And of course, I said no, or the committee said no, and we will increase it or renew it for a three renewal term, which we have done in the past on all of our other leases to this point. I don't know if y'all remember, but back in March of 2013, we kind of used the AT&T lease. This was one that our legal counsel was brought on board, and we kind of used that as some non-binding, non-negotiable things, and we made sure all of that stuff was put into the lease. So I feel like that turning them down the first time and then coming back with the additional offer and for the extension would be something for the board to consider. So I would, administration would recommend consideration and approval of the AT&T lease program as presented.
Mr. Ayub.
The current lease, when would that expire?
It would expire on
23?
23, yes.
So why do we want to do this, what is this, 6 years early? I mean, it was a 10-year lease. We're not even halfway through it, and they want to renew it. See, one of the arguments we had is they wanted these hellaciously long contracts because obviously internet and over-the-air things is going through the roof. We didn't want the longer contracts, so the backdoor here is we let this run a couple of years, and then we come back and bump it up. And, you know, what would be the expiration date with the 3 extensions now?
Would be 20.
No, because it's 10 plus. It's 25 from now.
It would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 38, 2038.
2038. Well, I think it's too long because by then we'll either be charging a lot or internet will no longer be used and they're still going to back out anyway. And so at the end of the day, they're trying to lock us into these very long leases by doing a backdoor on us.
The President Gonda, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, Steve Blanco again, legal counsel.
Well, I mean, the way I see it, I might still be around. Everybody else.
It's a good question that Mr. Ayub has asked, and we've kind of gone back and forth with. There's another one after this, the same basic structure. So it's the wireless industry going around and asking the various locations where they have these, not just us, to lock them in for longer periods of time because of what they say, competitive forces within the industry, making sure that they have coverage and that they have service, and they need it to be consistent. They need to know, according to them, that they can lock it up for a long period of time. So yes, they're asking us. Mind you, they asked us to go out even further in time, and to that we said no. The terms are roughly the same in this lease, although they've front-loaded it a little bit more than the Crown Castle, that's Contel Cellular. They're next on the agenda. They've handled it a little bit differently, but it's the same basic structure. They want periods of time guaranteed with increases. They're offering us 12%. That 12% kicks in every 5 years. The one you're going to get next is a 3% annual increase in the rent. So it's just how they want to price their structures and how they want to approach this. It's up to you to accept it or reject it. If you reject it, the lease will expire, they'll move, and they'll find some other location to rent from.
Mr. Nakata.
So, you probably need Mr. Ness out here too. But, okay, so just doing quick calculations, all right? This lease started in 2013. And what they're offering is 2018 to pay us $1738.91 a month. That is equivalent to a 3% increase year over year. So even at the 2013 rate of $1,500, increased 3% year over year, they're at $1738.91. So what they're offering, commencing March 1st, 2018, is exactly what we are supposed to get according to this contract. Just to give you an idea, though, had we been in that same in the agreement that they're offering, 5 years, 12% escalator, we wouldn't be at 1,500 in we wouldn't be at 1738 in 2018. We would be at 1680. So, I mean, it's $100
Well,
in
so
the long
you go
run.
5 years with nothing. And
Yeah, with no increase. So it would be, you know, I didn't do the math year over year over year, but, you know, by the 5th year, we're losing $150 a month for 12 months. So, you know, what is that? $1,500, about $1,800 a year. Not a whole lot of money, but every little bit helps, right? And so, you know, to me, I don't have a problem with commencing March 18th. They pay us $1738.91. But how many of your cell bills have stayed the same year over year? Mine sure hasn't. You know, I got to get a new plan. How about the cost of your phone? Has that stayed the same year over year? No, so they're making money somehow, right? 12% to me year over year is not fair. As a matter of fact, I would want to go back and say, you know what? Let's both go at risk. Let's make it a cost of living adjustment. If it's greater than 3%, then it's greater than 3%. If it's less than 3%, then we took some risk too. But it's the cost of inflation. Now, is that reasonable? I don't know. But I just, you know, I want to be clear that it is a difference, and the difference is in their favor. I think,
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir. I have a couple questions here. One of them, the length of time is a very long contract that I wouldn't want to put the person that comes and sits here after me to have to, you know, deal with something that I locked down for them 10 years from now, whatever, 15. So they could have a short period of time to make a decision. Now, the other one, if my concern is that within the next 2 to 3 years, all the 4G towers are going to go to 5G towers. And the proposals from the different companies are already coming in. So I don't know how this upgrade to the 5G would impact what we have now. So, you know, we would probably be losing a lot more money than we hope, and because technology is changing very, very rapidly. So when it comes to technology, we should be aware that this is happening, and we need to find out, you know, what we're signing to.
Mr. Gandra. And the last thing I would be concerned here with is that based on this practice, there's nothing that says that in 3 years from now, they don't come back and want to bump it up another 25 years, and this thing will be, you know, past mid-century. My thought is this go back to finance and facilities, and maybe they can renegotiate this, look at this, and see how it's an advantage to the school district. But it's just that this time factor is a very long time. And we're not gaining a whole lot of money. I'd rather have 3% a year than 12% every 5 years. And then we're going to sit idle. Along with what Mr. Gonzalez said, I know what's going to happen when they upgrade by 1 more G. They're going to make a lot more money, and we're still going to make our $1,700 a month.
Question.
Mr. Nakira.
Mr. Blanco, what is the rental stream offer component of that? I don't. On which one? On page.
50.
Yeah, the top of page 54, or what I think is the second page of the actual letter. It says, lessor shall immediately furnish lessee with a copy of the rental stream offer. Lessee shall have the right within 90 days after it receives such copy to match the rental stream offer.
If we sell we wouldn't do it, but if we were to sell the property, or if we were to sell the lease to another entity for some additional payment received, they have the option to say no, we'll match whatever it is you're getting from somebody who wants to buy it from you.
So if someone came up to us and said, I like that tower, that's a nice tower.
Well,
and
I feel like the agreement that we have with them, we'll buy the lease that you have.
It's a real sexy
with that
tower.
company. And they have the right to match whatever that offer is.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Just
Mr.
one
Gonzalez.
recommendation, Mr. Gandra.
Go ahead, Mr. Gonzalez.
If in the future, when you guys look into this, if you can include Mr. Reina into the possibility of a change into the technology.
Okay.
If you want to table this item and send Tom and his group back to negotiate with AT&T, we can do that.
Not table, but I want to postpone.
Postpone and,
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, we
Mr.
do.
Nakira.
Oh.
We do.
Can we
You
go
know,
to
just based on
motion,
the-
I'm sorry, can we go to motion, or skip item, I mean, not skip, but the next item also the same thing too, D. Can we put both of them together?
You can.
Okay, so I start with.
Well, I
motion.
apologize, I'm sorry, Mr.
no,
Nakata
sorry,
has the
sorry,
floor
go
right
ahead.
now.
Question, or comment, you know, I think just based on our existing agreement, and based on, or the terms of the existing agreement, and based on, you know, the increased dependence on cellular phone use and cellular networks, et cetera, you know, to me, the terms that they're proposing seem one-sided. You know, if they came back and said, let's agree to an extension of we'd like to request an extension to the agreement under current terms. Okay, if they came back and said, okay, you know, we want to renegotiate the agreement, but we're not gonna ask for an extension, something, you know, that was fair, you know, but to me, this just seems too one-sided. It seems all in their favor, and we're just, you know, giving in, and so ultimately, that's my concern. We could simply just say, you know what, we have our agreement, thank you very much. You know, and they stick to it. So if their intent is to renegotiate, then bring something worthwhile to the table, and we're ready to listen. So that's it.
Okay.
Motion to postpone item 10, is that C and D?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion to postpone items 10, C, and D to a future board meeting after we've gotten further information.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Ayub, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go down to item 10E, consider approval of TASB Update 107. Ms. Macias.
Yes, sir. President Ganda, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board, administration recommends to approve policies CJ and DC as presented, and this is a TASB Update 107.
Who's this right now?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who made the motion.
Mr. Ayub.
Good. Motion has been made by Mr. Ayub, seconded by Mrs. Nakada. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to item 10F, consider approval of appointment of SISD representative to the Tax Advisory Committee, Mr. Reza. Go
Yes,
ahead, sir.
President Gandra, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. Recently, an amendment to the Consolidated Tax Collections Contract was approved by all the taxing entities. This amendment, among other things, added a position to the Tax Advisory Committee for the Socorro Independent School District. And just for your information, the Tax Advisory Committee is charged with reviewing the budget of the City Tax Office and to advise and provide input to the various tax collections issues that may arise among the taxing entities. So the administration is requesting your approval to appoint myself, the Chief Financial Officer, as a district representative to this committee.
Motion to approve.
And I do want to personally thank Mr. Nakeda and Mr. Ayub, who I think 3 years ago brought this to my attention. It's been 3 years in the making. So.
I wanted to appoint myself. I'm playing. I mean, certainly, it's usually this committee is made up of chief financial officers or superintendents. Motion has been made by Mr. Nagara, seconded by Mrs. Nakada. Any further discussion?
Mr. Reza, Mr. Gandara.
Go ahead, Mr. Nakada.
Mr. Reza, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for making sure that our voices were heard. You know, as you mentioned, Mr. Ayub and I had been asking to insist on this representation for just for quite some time. So I'm glad we finally have, the appropriate seat for the size of entity that we are, and we get a voice.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Great job, sir. Again, we do have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Let's go down to executive session. This meeting is to be closed for discussion with legal counsel regarding possible acquisition of real estate property for school site. Consider consultation with legal counsel regarding threatened litigation and possible settlement of student versus Socorro Independent School District, Texas Education Agency mediation docket number 066-DM-0117 and 068-DM-0117 and discussion and of recommendations to propose termination of probationary contract teacher JP at Desert Wind School and WH at America's High School, and discussion of personnel and real estate matters under Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 551.0821, and 551.072, and 551.074. The time is 7:46. That was a lot. Once in a while. Okay, we're back out of executive session. It is 9:21. New business, item 12A, decision and possible action regarding recommendations to terminate the probationary contracts of teacher JP of Desert Wind School and WH at America's High School. Mr. Blanco.
Thank you, Board President Gondra, Dr. Espinosa, members of the board. The item for JP has been deleted. We no longer need to take action on that one. I gave you a summary of the issues with WH at America's High School, and we would recommend that the board consider a motion to terminate that probationary contract at the end of its term.
In the best interest of the district, I move to authorize the administration to terminate the probationary contract of teacher WH employed at Americas High School at the end of the contract term and to issue all required notices to the teacher.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Nakira, second by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 12B, consider possible action concerning threatened litigation and possible settlement of student versus Socorro Independent School District. Mr. Blanco.
Thank you, Board President Gondra. We gave you an update on this matter, which was handled through a mediation with the family and with the district, and Mr. Ortega gave you a full rundown and briefing on those issues. And it's at this time that we were asking the board to authorize a settlement in that matter on the terms that we discussed in closed session.
I move to accept the recommendation of the school's attorney and direct the chief financial officer and the school's attorney to proceed as discussed in closed session concerning student v. Socorro Independent School District, Texas Education Agency Mediation Docket Number 066-DM-0117 and 068-DM-0117.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Nakira, second by Mr. Gonzalez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 12C, decision and possible action regarding acquisition of real estate property for school site. Mr. Blanco.
Thank you. We gave, Mr. Ianton and I gave you an update on the efforts to acquire property, real estate for the new elementary school site. We've entered an initial letter of intent. We've not yet gotten to the point where we have a real estate contract in place. So at this time, we're asking that you authorize the administration and legal counsel to move forward with that letter of intent and complete our due diligence required to enter into a contract to purchase the real estate that was identified and discussed in closed session.
I move what Mr. Blanco said.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made by Mr. Nakira, seconded by Mrs. Nakira. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I don't want to close this meeting yet. Let's just sit down and relax. No, I'm playing. This meeting is now adjourned at 9:24.